Hello,
So we'll wait.
everyone.
Well, we got one person already here. Hello.
Hello.
You're here with Patricia and myself, Donna. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. We are going to talk tonight about several different things. On the list, I have talking about the Dark Realms or Dark Immortals Kickstarter, um, the His to Ruin arc, Rebel by Lena, and something coming along about your Highlander series.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I know you are. So, firstly, how are you doing? I guess that's really the bigger question is how are you doing? You're juggling a lot of balls and you're trying to get things done. And, maybe we need to talk a little bit about the Kickstarter situation that you are right there. You thought you were within your goal, $49 away from your goal, or was it 29? We even got to
29.
29, didn't we?
I
Yeah,
got to
so it's
29.
$29 away from your goal. And womp womp.
We
And
are
what did you find out though? Wasn't it like bots?
bots. Yes. We found out that the two backers that I lost were bots. So
How?
and
Go ahead.
so I don't know how, I don't know why, but they have to spoil everything.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense because it's like how does Kickstarter even allow bots to be part of this?
I don't know. But it's very frustrating because we were so close. We were 95% funded. And when we lost those two backers, we are now 70% funded. We have 7 days to get to our goal, 7 days. And I am hoping that we can actually get there because I think the three books that are in this Kickstarter are just absolutely fantastic. My betas have enjoyed them immensely, and the stories themselves are just they're a unique voice. There's something that I haven't seen a whole lot of in the paranormal romance. They're very gothic romance, fantasy, paranormal, kind of a mixed match of subgenres. Um, and I had a lot of fun with them, and I really think that readers will enjoy them.
Well, then we need to get the Kickstarter funded and because I don't want you to give up on this project. So we have to get this Kickstarter funded because if people are going to enjoy the book, and they're going to learn so much because I've looked at the grimoire that comes with it, and there's so much information and so much back history of these characters, the places. I mean, you've created a world that you can dive into, and that's what happens with these books. They're all part of that series, and having this companion along is always a good thing because then you get to learn more.
Yes, and the grimoire was it was actually a way for me to keep track of all of the world building notes that we had because it is an extensive world. You're kind of thrown into a world, the vampires world, which is there are some similarities to Earth, but there's some very big similar dissimilarities as well. And it's just a great side piece that goes with the series that is honestly it's only going to be available for the Kickstarter. I made that decision to have it available only for the Kickstarter because I wanted to have something special for the backers.
And that makes sense because, limited editions, limited edition book covers, that's the other thing. The book covers that are for the Kickstarter are just for the Kickstarter.
They are the covers, these stories. There's bonus material in there that is not going to be once April 30th rolls around. That content is not going to be made available anywhere else. So if you are interested, now is the time to jump on and back this Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's an important thing. So we're going to keep up with progress next time we talk on here because I'm
Yes,
sure we'll do
yes.
this again. We will update you about the progress this weekend. Also, myself and Patricia will be in the Fables and Filth Discord Festival. So that's going to be a lot of fun because we both will be doing a Q&A. You'll be there as Marley Sable,
I
and
will.
I will be there as I think DM Needom. Not sure. I thought because I don't remember. I put both pin names in, but only one one Q&A. So there you go.
Well, and having more than one pen name, I think using our time wisely, we can be multiple personalities within what the space of one Q&A.
True. As long as we're not going to turn into Sybil, and for those who knew Sybil from the movie a long time ago, she had split personalities. So as long as we don't have split personalities, we're all good. Because
Yeah,
that could get a little
exactly.
crazy.
Exactly.
Um, so another thing, Elise, your pen name for Elise, you have coming in on June 4th, you have His to Ruin. That's the second book in the Sin City Sovereign series. And say
Yes.
that 3 times real fast. Um, So Sin City City, so here we go. We're gonna have art. We're gonna be releasing ARC soon. So there is an ARC sign up form that I will put underneath the Zoom after it's posted, and you can sign up for the ARC. You get a pre copy, and yeah, you get to end up giving it a review, and hopefully you like it because I'm looking forward to reading it. I read the first one; it was great, and that one is available for purchase if you want. His to Burn. But his to room, we are looking for ARC readers right now, and we're building an ARC team for not just Elise, but for all of your pen names.
Yes, all five of them.
Yeah.
All
So
five of them. So
there's a diverse world there.
there is, and I think that's part of what the draw should be for readers is you get to play in, you get to explore worlds that are very, very different, because I write historical romance, historical fiction. I write contemporary small town sweet romance. I write gothic paranormal. I write mafia, and I also write small town second chance romance in protector romance. I write male as well. Some of it, there's a couple of books. We are actually doing a relaunch on Rebel, which is one of the Grissom Road trilogy books, and that is well, it's a kind of a paranormal romance with a horror um, feel to it, really, because it's not for the faint of heart. We'll put it that way. So you get to play in a lot of different worlds and a lot of different styles, a lot of different voices as well.
Okay. And that's kind of an important thing is to play with those different aspects of each pen name. I mean, Elise writes the gothic romance, she writes the mafia books. And so then you can go over to Patricia's world and you have a Western, you have Highlander books, which, oh yeah, there's something there too, but we're going to hold off on that for a second.
Hmm.
But there's all these different pieces that you get to explore as an ARC reader. So it's not just you're signing up for, I'm going to do a mafia read, I'm going to do this. And it doesn't mean if you sign up, if you don't want to read one of those ARC books, you don't have to.
No, no. I appreciate my ARC readers immensely because I think that I want them to enjoy doing it. I want them to enjoy what they're reading. But I don't want them to feel like they have to read absolutely everything because not everybody reads in all of those genres. So, but I
Hmm.
hope that they do.
And that's the thing. You want to build that team, and we want people to come along for that ride. We
Yes,
want
because it
people
is a
to
wild ride.
exactly, exactly. So when you look at the future coming up, there is something about the Highlander, and I don't know if you want to give too much away, but tell us a little bit about what you're working on as far as the Highlander series, because you've been playing with it just a little bit.
I have been. So originally, um, the first book's been out for a couple of years, but I was lucky enough recently to attend a business class through Inkers Con through Alessandra Torres. It was a 5-day challenge and kind of opened my eyes to a few things. And I wanted to deliver the readers the stories that they were expecting and maybe overlooking because my titles, my covers they fit, but they didn't fit as well as I had hoped. It was kind of sort of like they're the shutters on the windows that's always left open, as so to speak. And so with the Highlander ones, book 4 will be coming out later on this year, but we are going to be doing a complete and total relaunch of the first 3 books with new covers, new titles, new content. Book 1, I'm in the process of revising, and we're already sitting at 7K of new content within the book. And so each book is going to be a little bit longer, but I think it's going to be better. And readers are really going to get a chance to experience Scotland during the First War of Independence and a little bit of romance thrown in.
Oh, that's always good. So we have 2 people watching, and if you have a question for Patricia or any of her pen names, please leave it in the comments, and we'll be glad to answer them.
Yes, of course. That is why we're here.
Yeah. So what else do you have coming up? I know this summer you have another one of Marley's books coming out, or is that September? Excuse me. I
That
misspoke.
will be September. Marley has another book coming out. She writes Protector Romance. The next book in her next book in the Agents of Star series will be coming out in September. Um, and she's currently also working on a rewrite, or well, not necessarily a rewrite, but she has a free read right now that is a very short story. It's fits within the Agent of Star series. She's going to be expanding that. She's had some readers that have reached out and said, hey, could we have a full-length version of this story? So she's going to be doing that, which will be coming probably late 2026, early 2027. She's also Marley's got hers. Patricia's got in August has a short Pony Express romance that's going to be coming out. That's part of the Heart of the Pony Express world collab that I'm working on with 5 other authors. I'm very excited about that, even though it is Western and it is a little bit different than my Highlanders. I am very excited. We just released When the Dust Settles, so that is actually going to be in the Stuff Your Kindle. I have decided I'm going to be putting that in the Stuff Your Kindle, so if you haven't checked it out, by all means, that's going to be the time to do so. And the rest of the year is we've got the Bloodbound and the Dark Realm is going to be launching later this year. Again, those books are not going to be the same as what's in the Kickstarter. They are not going to have all of the bonus content. They're just going to be the regular stories. So it's my various pen names all have full plates between now and the end of the year.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it. So when do you find time for you?
Usually when I'm driving to work or I'm driving home. No.
Understand?
No, I am trying to train myself to take at least 1 day a week where I can disconnect from everything and just focus on family and me. We've actually got a family trip planned for the 1st or the 2nd of May. We're going to the Badlands here in Saskatchewan, going down and around and back up through Moose Jaw. We're going to stop in Big Beaver, and we're going to just kind of just take a day and see the sights and do some exploring and just kind of disconnect from everything and just have some fun.
Well, you kind of need to recharge sometimes. I mean, I think we don't look about disconnecting and recharging. We always are on the go now.
Hmm. I don't think that I don't think we that there's any chance for us to slow down and just smell the flowers, as you will. Um, and May is notoriously going to be a very busy month for us anyways, because May is the month where things are changing here in Saskatchewan weather-wise. We are planning out the garden. That's a 2-day or 3-day planting towards the May long weekend, which is the 3rd weekend in May, where we take 3 days and we plant in our garden, because our garden is just shy of 2,500 square feet. So we have a lot of produce to be going in, and we've got some fruit plants and other things that are going to be going in as well. So um, this year is going to be very busy, and I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to get outside and into the garden, not just the vegetable garden, but the flower garden I'm planning. And we are kind of doing a challenge So if anyone wants to participate, you can. We are going to be planting sunflowers as we do every year. And we are going to be measuring them this fall and we cut them down and seeing how tall they are. So whoever has the tallest sunflower, I will figure out something.
Well, and I don't think, so do you use the seeds? Do you go ahead and harvest the seeds and everything on your sunflowers?
We do, we do. This year is the first year that we're actually going to be buying seeds because last year the birds ate the seeds out of the sunflowers, but normally we harvest them. Um, and then it, weather change, of course, with the birds. They wanted to they and we tend to try and leave them up anyways for the birds. We take some of them, the seeds, and then leave some for the birds for the winter, because it's always a great way to provide food that they would normally eat. And so this year, the plan is to uh, harvest some and harvest the seeds, and then you reuse those for next year. Um, this past year, I think we wound up with I think 36 sunflowers.
Wow.
And they were massive. We actually had to cut some of them down with a chainsaw.
Wow.
So
That's
it was good
crazy.
though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine. So are you doing any crochet projects right now?
I am currently working on some crochet bouquets, roses, freesias, lilies, some greenery, because it is coming up to grad season and that sort of thing. I am lucky enough that I can actually sell them, so I do that. But I'm also working on some blankets and some bags. Um, I have a one bag right now that I'm doing a lunchbox for a friend of mine. So it's a lot of fun. It's a bit challenging trying to downsize a pattern that's originally for a blanket into the size of a bag, but it's just a matter of it's going to be an applique where I'm doing the bag in black and then the logo that he wanted will be done in crochet cotton and then sewn onto the bag.
Wow. Sounds like a large project, even though it's a small project.
Yes, yes, it is.
So what else do you do in your free time besides gardening, crochet?
Read, walk, travel. This year we're planning on doing more road trips. We like to explore Saskatchewan, Manitoba. The plan is this summer as well to go to Ontario for a few days, possibly, and just explore that. So that's always fun. And then, of course, I try and get some sleep in there at some point.
So what do you like to read in your downtime?
I think it's more of what I don't want to read because I
Okay.
read pretty much. I read a lot of everything. I read a lot of nonfiction. I read a lot of fiction. I read a lot of romance, westerns. I've kind of gotten into some of the true crime thrillers. I just actually just purchased Alessandra's new book, and I'm looking forward to reading that when I have some time. That's actually what I'm going to be taking for a road trip, so that I have that on my Kindle as we're driving. If I want to read, I'll have something to read.
So you're one of those people that can read and ride.
I can read and ride.
Not everybody can do that because some people get nauseous or car sick.
Yes. It used to be I couldn't.
Hmm.
But then I don't know, maybe I just trained myself how to do it.
Could be. Or maybe because it's a Kindle instead of a book, maybe that changes it too.
That could be because it
Who
is
knows?
my phone. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're used to looking at our phone all the time. So there's that.
Yes.
So we were talking a little bit earlier before we got on here that you will be launching your own bookstore to sell your own books.
I am going to be launching. I'm going to be launching my own bookstore. I'm going to be selling direct. The nice thing about that is that every title that will be sold directly is not going to be the same price as what you're going to find on Amazon or Kobo or Google Reads or Smashwords. Buying direct means that I have more control and I'm not having to pay out to distributors. So it's actually going to mean that readers who are buying directly from me are actually going to save some money.
It's interesting that you mentioned about the distribution system because I was reading something from a cover artist that talked about downsizing your cover. And I know for a reader, you're like, okay, what's this matter? But by downsizing your cover, you're saving on data, and therefore your royalties go up because the size of the cover, which is the part of the distribution fee, with that
Mm-hmm.
rate of how much it's going, how big your cover is taking up more data. And so therefore it costs more for them to provide the book.
Yes,
And it was
which
just,
ultimately means that the author gets less because they're paying more for the distribution.
yep. I had never heard that before until I saw that today. And I was just kind of like, really? Because you don't think about those things. You just think create your cover and do the cover that around the sizes that they want, and that's it.
Yeah. And that's true. And I have done my own covers for so long now that I'm so used to doing them at the size, a specific size, that now that I'm starting to downsize and make and scale them down, it makes it a little bit easier, a little bit cheaper as well for me with those distribution costs.
Mm-hmm. And those distribution costs eat up a lot. The other thing that's going on too a lot is people are, once again, they're starting to see the return thing happen. People are starting to borrow books again and then return them, or buy books and then return them. And it's not a library.
It is not a library. If you want to borrow a book, go to your local library. They will have those books for you. Um, Amazon, you're buying the book, you're buying the license to read that book, you're buying and returning it is directly impacts the author because those funds that you have paid to purchase that book or borrow it um, are pulled out of the author's pocket.
And what's an interesting thing about that is if you go to watch a movie on Amazon, you have that, you click on that movie to rent it and you can't return it after you start watching at a certain amount. You can't stop it. You are charged for that movie and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
for authors, it's different, and that's just the way things go. So I'm gonna have some fun here. So, favorite band?
Oh, this is going to date me.
Oh, please. Come on.
Um, the one band that I have followed, or the one artist that I have followed since I was a little girl, has been Charlie Pride.
Okay. And why Charlie Pride? Is it because it's a nostalgia thing, or you just love his voice? What?
I love
Why?
his voice. There's just something, the storytelling, the way that he sings. There's just something about it that has stuck with me from the time I was little,
Okay.
which was
Sec
odd because he wasn't a favorite in the house.
Well, if I grew up in a house with Barry Manilow, and that was the weird thing. My mom skewed the Barry Manilow Carpenters, Neil Diamond, and ABBA. And then my dad went from, you know, Bowie and the Beatles to Wailing Jennings and Willie Nelson. And then I came back to New Orleans for a visit, and he's listening to Oingo Boingo. So my dad's was had a very eclectic taste. So, I mean, just because you grew up with most of that stuff, I think the only thing I really listened to of my dad's choosing, some of the rock, yes, but Oingo Boingo was more something that I would have skewed to than I'm talking my teenage years than the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and my music taste is very eclectic because I have on my Spotify, I have classical music, I have classical rock. We're talking Metallica, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin,
Hmm.
Brian Adams, um, you know, and I find that a lot of the new stuff, it doesn't have the same soul that the old stuff did.
Well, and that's the scary thing because even when I'm doing, because I'm her PA, for those who are watching. When I go to match songs to videos now, I found myself this week actually going, wait a second, I need to check to make sure this is an AI. And there was some that I had used already that ended up being AI, and I was kind of mortified because it's like, if you don't know, it's not warned on there. And so you have to look at the bigger picture, and the part of what you were saying was soulless. I think that's part of it is like computer generated music is not going to have that heart and soul, and not, even though they're stealing people's voices and creating this, there was some scandals this week about that. It still doesn't have the passion.
No, no, it doesn't. And I don't think it ever will because there's there's no way to put those nuances in.
No. So we have about 5 minutes left. If you have a question, go ahead and ask. Is there something you want to add to this? Because I mean, I'm putting you on the hot seat asking you what kind of books you like, what kind of music you like.
You know what?
Is
I actually I had someone actually reach out to me earlier this week, and I'm going to answer the question that they had asked me. They
Okay,
had asked me about how I got my inspiration for my books and where I got my ideas.
okay,
And it's very hard to put into words, but my ideas and my inspirations for my books depends on the book, depends on the genre, it depends on the heat level. But I can tell you this, it can be anything. I can get an inspiration from anything. I actually have a book that has is out right now. It was originally titled um, Master's Mistress, my first book that I ever released. It was traditionally published, and then I got my rights back, and it has since come back out. It's been revamped, and I've relaunched it as Her Viking's Thrall. The idea that I got for that book was to take the movie The 13th Warrior and put a female Viking in his place.
okay.
Now, the story itself does not follow that particular idea, um, in the sense that the heroine is Irish royalty who's enslaved, who reclaims her throne at the end, and he is a Viking, but the idea stuck. And so when I sat down to start writing it, I originally started writing it with that idea of she was going to be a female Viking, she was going to be a Viking warrior, and then the character stepped up and said, "No, no, no, no. This is not how we want this story to go. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it." And so that story was born. And that story was actually a bestseller for the publishing house when it first came out. For a month. It stayed on the bestseller chart.
Well,
And I'm so excited about that because I learned so much from that book. But again, the ideas can come from anything. I mean, I've written stories based on a woman in a white dress. That particular book has not been relaunched, and I'm hesitant to because it doesn't really fit into anything that I write anymore. In the fact that it starts off historical, and then we have a time jump to contemporary, and she's a ghost, and she falls in love with a mortal. Um, so it's a little bit different than anything that Patricia would write. It could kind of fit in with some of Lena's stuff, but it's not male. So I'm not sure what I want to do with it. If I want to break it up and make it into two books, but it's hard to say because I really love the story, but again, it doesn't fit into the catalog that I've got or anything. And I don't think that creating a new pen name for one book is a very good idea.
no, but you could make it where it's two different authors. You split it into two books and make it where, both authors are working on it, and there you go. And
That's true.
Elise could do it because she's got the gothic romance. I mean, it's not historical, but you can make it work.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good idea.
So, any questions for anybody or anything else you'd like to add?
If anyone has questions, I am only an email away. You can message me on Facebook as well. I love actually hearing from readers. It's actually really does make my day. It really brings a smile to my face when I hear from readers. So if anyone's got any questions or they want to reach out to me afterwards, you can send me an email at patricia@patriciabates.com, or you can message me directly through Facebook. And I will get back to you as quickly as I can.
Awesome. Thank you, Patricia, for doing this with me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.